All right, I'm here with my buddy Bowie, and this is Bowie's Roadmap to Success. And he is probably the most well-restrained and calm Pomeranian I've ever worked with. And the guards have told me that he's having a very, very good day, and normally he acts out a little bit more. But I think a lot of the issues and the situations that were going on here was a miscommunication. So this is like a summary of our session. We started off by going over marker words. We did a loading exercise. Now you guys are going to see this about a week later. So please remember right now that you guys need to walk around your house saying yes and give them the treat. You need to do that about 6 times, about 12, 15 treats each time. And you want to be done with that by the end of Tuesday. So try to get that one done. Remember to do that one. We also went over, yes, hand targeting to help him understand, to help you guys practice your timing. It also, yes, hey, happy. It also helps, it's a good consent check. If you go like this and he doesn't touch his nose to your hand or turns away, he's saying no. But it also does help him condition getting used to touching people's hands. Let me see, what else? We went over, and also you can use hand targeting that's designed to reposition him. And it's also can be an alternative recall. We also went over celebrating, which is what I just did a minute ago. He sat down when he's on my lap. As soon as he sat down, I said yes and petted him. Celebrating is rewarding your dog when it offers desired behaviors when you do not ask for them. Now, if he does, so remember to point at each other and say celebrate, and try to get in the habit of doing that. It'll take you about 2 months, and after about 2 months, you'll get in the habit of doing it. You won't even think about it. But if your partner says celebrate, just say yes and pet him under his chin or on his chest. You don't need to know what it is. We also talked about the manners lesson or the chicken nuggets lesson. And so if he is barking at you, nudging at you, pawing at you for attention, you're gonna freeze or ignore him until he stops. When he stops, yes, then you're gonna go ahead and tell him to sit or down or boop. And if he does, you're gonna tell him one time, he has 3 seconds to do it. If he does it, then you mark and reward. If he doesn't do it, then you go back to doing what you're doing and you ignore him at that point. Now, if he does it a lot, he probably is saying that I don't have enough energy burnt or I'm bored. So he's allowed to be bored and has energy needs taken care of. So if we don't take care of that, we should expect his behavior to deteriorate a little bit. We also went over the pause interrupter. The pause interrupter was making that kissing sound like, see how quickly he looked at me? So remember, all attention for dogs is rewarding. So if he's starting to chew something you don't like and you say don't, you're giving him attention. So what I would do instead, go, when he looks at me, I go boop. And he's going to run over and touch his nose to your hand. Once you practice that exercise enough, you've now redirected him away from whatever the thing was by just making an interesting sound where he chose to disengage from that, yes, and then come to you. But then you need to give him some carrots, a bully stick, or something along those lines to get him distract him. Otherwise, he can go back to doing what he was doing before. Celebrating is the absolute easiest thing you could do, but you're going to have to get in the habit of doing it. So use the word of celebrate to remind each other, and say manners to remind each other for that if he's demanding attention. So if he's up here and he's barking at me, and you come in and say manners, I would maybe stand up or stop petting him, and then tell him to sit or lie down. If he does it, mark and reward, and then tell you I asked him to sit and jump on my chest because I wanted to pet him. But thank you for reminding, because I do forget to reward the things I like. Let me see, we also went over a dog consent. So remember, if his ears go back, he turns his head aside, he ducks his head, his eyes brace, he licks his lips, he looks at you sideways, or refuses to look at you, or refuses to come to you, those can be cutoff signals, his way of saying I don't want to do something. And if we don't respect his cutoff signals, we should expect that a bite or something else would come along. Just like if I'm communicating to you that I'm uncomfortable and you keep on doing the thing that makes me uncomfortable, eventually it might turn into a punch or a yell or something like that. So I think he's shown a lot of restraint, and I think the guardians here just didn't know how to read those things. So watch for signs of consent or cutoff signals when you're interacting with all sorts of stuff. Now remember, signs of consent include the nose going up, squinty or sleepy eyes, licking your lips, or licking you, not licking lips, leaning against you or putting a paw on your arm. So if you're petting him and he starts going like this, he's saying, I like that. So watch for those affirmation signals and cutoff signals. We offers cutoff signals, we stop doing it. We're doing affirmation signals, then we're gonna, or when we're doing things that we like, we're gonna look for those affirmation signals to figure it out. And don't be afraid to do a consent check. So if I'm petting him here and I wanna see if he wants the pets, I go like this. He came and put his chin over there. He's saying, yes, I want more pets. And he's reciprocating by giving me some licks. So he's telling me you're petting me in the place that I like. I agree with what you're doing. All right, so watch those cutoff signals. I remember if somebody wants to meet him, just say, hey, we just like to ask, can I meet your dog? Yeah, we just ask people to hold their hand out, see if he wants to meet them. They should hold their hand about 12 inches away from their body, not in his face. and at nose level for him. And if he comes over and touches his nose to your, and they're going to say, well, how is he going to tell me? Well, if he touches his nose to your hand, he's saying he wants pets. If he turns his head to the side or doesn't look at you, he's saying no. Remember, if you tell them that ahead of time, they're going to be more respectful and appreciative of what happens next. And if he does touch his nose to their hand, tell him he likes it when you pet him on his neck. And then you get the affirmation signals, and now he's like, oh, these strangers know to pet me in the right place. But if he turns his head to the side, say, hey, he's not, we don't know, a long walk, it's been a long day. Hopefully we'll see another time you can pet him and walk off. If they try to pet him anyways, step in between them. Always be your dog's advocate. If he sees that you make sure that what he wants is accomplished, he can be relaxed and count on you guys to be his leader and not have to worry about doing it on his own. I think there is a little bit of confusion as to what his role is, and I think that's partially why he's decided to be a little bit of a guard dog. You want to get down, buddy? There you go. He's like, I want more treats. All right, let me see. We went over, creative forms of exercise, getting that snuffle mat. The snuffle mat I like is the one on, it's called RUNDICK. It's gray and has a ring around it, and there's a golden retriever eating it out of it on Amazon. Feed him his meals there. But first, you're going to have to switch over from free feeding to structured feeding. So what you're going to do there is put the food down. Eats, it could have said yes. Basically, you're going to eat a little something yourself. Some dogs are social eaters. Once he sniffs the bowl, he started the process. He can stay there as long as he wants, but as soon as he walks away, whatever food is left in the bowl, we pick it up, we dump it empty. Importantly, we put the empty bowl on the ground so he recognizes and registers it is empty. And then there's no food again unless you're doing training until the next meal. And doing a little training is okay. A little bit of food will actually spike his appetite. Hunger is going to become your ally. It is not ethical to withhold food from dogs, but saying you can have this food and as soon as you walk away, the food's going away is okay, because that's what happens in nature. It'll take him about 2 or 3 days before he starts eating when you present the food. And after that, give him about a week before you switch over to the snuffle mat. Let me see. Remember that sniffing on walks is like reading stories or watching TV shows, so let him do it to completion. Walk him to wherever he would like to sniff, unless it's not safe to do so. A little tip if you want to get him walking, every time you get up and he's going to follow you, say, let's go. So if every time you go to the bathroom, you say, let's go, and he follows you to the bathroom, later on if you're sniffing, there's like a grumpy old man or a homeless guy coming around the corner, you say, let's go, he's going to pop his head up, ready to go to the next adventure, but it only works if you get in the habit of doing that. So every time he's going to follow you, even if it's only a couple feet, say, let's go. Remember, the cue always comes first. Cue is the direction. Take a right. You can't say take a right after you pass the intersection. So the cue comes first, then the action comes next, if he does it. If he does it, then we say the marker, and then the conclusion of it is we pay him. Pet, treat, or attention. And if he doesn't do it, don't repeat it. The more you say it, the less you mean it. Now, if he's barking, just ignore. If you need to, increase the distance, but you want to try to avoid putting him in situations he's gonna bark, and he's practicing at getting better at that. Let me see, we also want to incorporate and play fetch. Remember to play fetch with those rules. So he has to bring the thing to you, tell him to drop. When he drops, say yes, then pet him for a second. Then reach over to pick up the item. He tries to grab it, drop it. I'm not playing the game that way. You got to show me impulse control. You come over, drop it. Eventually, you'll tell him to drop. Eventually, he'll come over and just drop it. Then you don't have to mark for that anymore. Then you just pick it up. If he gets up, tell him to sit. When he sits, say yes, pet him, and then say fetch, then throw it. Remember, the cue comes first, then the action. He runs it, grabs it, brings it back to you. Wait for him to drop it. Then you say yes and pet him. So that's the kind of the formula for that. So get in the habit of, we need to come up with a better rhythm for him for exercise. I think part of his problems is he will not exercise properly. So he needs at least an hour's worth of exercise a day, sprinkled a little bit. So maybe you take him out for a 10-minute sniff walk. He eats 2 meals. It takes him 5 minutes for the snuffle mat, each one. And then maybe you do training. Each one of you does training with him twice a day for 1 minute each. That's 4. And then plus 2 meals, that's 6. And then you take him out for 2 walks, that's 8. Maybe play fetch, that's 9. And play tug of war, that's 10. You just got him a lot of little exercise. Remember, it's best done every 2 to 4 hours. Now, if he comes up and he's demanding attention from you, ask yourself how long it's been since he has had attention. Maybe he's bored. Keep a journal for about a week or 2. Write down the date at the top, write the time and how much exercise. Walked for 3 minutes, fetched this many times. Don't just say fetch, how many? And then every time he has an outburst, barking or whatever it is, write down the time and what he barked 12 times at the trash truck or whatever it is. Then at the end of the day, give a letter grade A through F. And then if it's anything on A, look at the intervals. How long has it been since he's when he sleeps in there as well, and when you feed him in there as well. After a while, you see, if he hasn't gotten exercise every 2.5 hours, that's when he gets mischievous. So then you can be proactive and get him that exercise ahead of time. And you can use exercise preemptively. So if you're going to have some guests come over, make sure you take him out for a nice walk. He gets a 15, 20-minute sniff walk. Bring him back in. Remember, he needs at least 15 minutes after the exercise before the next thing happens, or his behavior will be worse. But you can really set him up for success by getting him exercise ahead of time on the regular, and you can also set him up to fail by not doing that. And if he doesn't, you should expect some unwanted behaviors. Let me see, what else? Some rules. Sit before I open the door to let you out of the kennel. Sit before I start preparing your food. Sit before I put your food down. Sit before I invite you on the couch. Sit before I open the door. Sit before we cross the street every time on the walk. Sit before I let you get in the car. Most of these are sit. There are other ways you can do it, as the things you can do as well. But after a while, he'll just sit, and then you open the car door. He'll sit, and you open the kennel door, or whatever the case may be. But this is a great way to get him practicing a little self-restraint and respecting listening to you guys. Remember to, like the S woman, to be the one who is feeding him, and especially if you can't, rub your hands through that food and put it in a bag so that you can feed him with the food that already has your scent on it. Now, it's not a dominance thing, it's just trying to create a little bit of a positive association, a little bit more. And if you are the one who's feeding him primarily, that helps. Practice, maybe you may double up a little bit on practicing the different exercises. You might even tell him to go underneath, throw a couple treats under the bed, and do the exercise we did in the video above when he's not guarding. That's the best practice ever. So throw a couple treats on the bed, he runs out to get them, step out of the room, wait for him to pop his head out, and walk to the doorway and throw a treat, and then turn around and walk. Make it a game. Now practice when he is guarding, but you can also practice like that when you're not guarding and make it feel a little bit better. And the more that he practices with you, the more he's going to see you as a leader. So, teaching him new skills, if you have a mentor, unless they take advantage of you, which sadly a lot of mentors do, but if you have a mentor, you feel good about your mentor. They helped you on a part of your life's journey. They helped give you some knowledge that you didn't have before. And you have a warm place in your heart for them. You have a little respect for them. I'm sure he loves you. I mean, clearly the way he was interacting, he does. I think there have been some times where he's told you things and you didn't know what they were. And so that's why I think some of these bites have happened. Now that you know and you're a conscious person, you're trying to be looking out for that. I don't see those things happening again. The only one that could potentially happen again, I think, as long as you're listening to his cutoff signals, is the guarding under the bed, because that's something that you might just not know that he's under there. So again, I would try to get a camera that you could put underneath there. You know that. Yes, you tell him who's boss. All right, let me see what else. What else did I go over? Is there anything else you want me to go over that I've forgotten to mention? It's like I've done this before. Come here, buddy. Yes, come here. Let me pick you up again. Oh, yes. And he didn't move away, so he was okay with me picking him up. Probably because he thinks I'm going to give him a lot of treats. Is that right? Yeah. All right, well, this is my buddy Bowie, and this is Bowie's roadmap to success. Remember, everything you do trains your dog. Only sometimes you mean it.
Thanks.